And the question is this, Jay, looking at the second leg, do you think that's who you go to in terms of here's your game winner? Do you put your money on Themba Zwane winning you the tie? How big is Mshishi going into the second leg?
First of all, how good is it to see Themba Zwane back on a football pitch? My goodness, it has been months. It has been probably like the equivalent of half a year without seeing Themba Zwane play, at least for Sundowns, because he hasn't turned up for Sundowns, I believe, since September, and we're in April now, And Sundowns, they did a good job of teasing the return of Themba Zwane. It was like a movie, like a big movie that's gonna come out, and trailers were dropping because there's the extension to his contract, and then you see him being posted on social media, and the suggestion was, okay, he's gonna play, and then when he showed up on the sideline, you hear the crowd singing Themba Zwane, and he gets the captain's armband, he's back on the field, and as I'm saying, it was a moment to savor, in terms of one of the all-time greats in South African football. In terms of his performance, and as a result, in terms of what I expect, like, will he be the proverbial messiah? Is he coming to save Sundowns when they go to Egypt? I think it's a lot to put on his shoulders, coming back from injury, and the kind of injuries coming back from in a year where he turns 36. I don't know what Themba Zwane is going to look like, right? One of the things that has marked his career thus far, in his time in his peak at Sundowns, is that that dude has been like super fit. And when you've spoken to people who know him, Themba Zwane goes on 20-kilometer jogs for fun. He takes the game very seriously. And even like people who've coached him, people who've worked with him, they say that about him. Like, yes, Themba Zwane ushishiliza abantu ngobuso pants. But what enables that and what makes him so great is the fact that he's always available. And the reason he's always available is because he takes care of himself so well. And he's been an Iron Man of sorts, But the thing is, Father Time does catch up with everybody. And Themba Zwane has never suffered an injury like the one that he did. And I'm actually quite shocked to see him back so quick. I thought he was going to be out for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Which goes to maybe suggest that Zwane might be a different kind of athlete in terms of his recovery and in terms of what he looks like at the stage of his career. Also, we see it in Europe, and it has trickled down to South Africa, especially amongst the big clubs, the involvement of sports science. And you would know that Sundowns and their medical team have done everything. They've exhausted every avenue to make sure that he's back on the pitch as well as he can be. That is still to be seen, though. And to ask him, Chuck, that after a cameo appearance in the first leg of a Champions League semifinal against Ahly, and then to go to Cairo and be the difference maker, it's a lot to ask. Yeah. And it's Themba Zwane, right? And Themba Zwane, in my eyes, is the PSL GOAT. He's the greatest player in PSL history. I'm not saying the greatest South African player ever, but particularly in terms of longevity, being in the league, and everything is done in the league. And if there is a guy who you can look to and say, come and do the job, it would be that guy. But the combination of the fact that he's coming back from a horrific injury at the age that he finds himself in, and the only game time there is to speak about, as I'm saying, is a 15-minute cameo in the first leg, just the week before he is supposed to then, supposedly, maybe in the eyes of some fans, have to go to Cairo and work miracles. He can. I believe in Shikabala with everything I am, but I think you shouldn't be looking at him or to him to do that. The other players who have been there, they should carry that load.
I mean, obviously, Mamelodi Sundowns fans, the team, and everyone related is happy, and so is anyone or anyone and everyone involved with Bafana Bafana as well, right? But with those two teams, Jay, it's somewhat a situation where we've gone on and done okay without you, and that's the thing that he has to now catch up to in terms of, I have to make my mark on the team and still be Umshishi, still be Themba Zwane, Shikabala, and not just be another passenger in the team. And that's the question, right? Can he be not just another passenger in the team and do something great? And yeah, maybe he can come back and be like Bukayo Saka. We're like, that's who we've been missing the whole time, and that's what he gives to the team. But I don't know if it's that easy, because I mean, it was a tall order, right? Arsenal, Real Madrid, Sundowns, Ahly, that they're both perennial winners of those continental competitions.
And Saka managed like 2 Premier League games. before
which is very different.
before coming back against Real Madrid, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, you want it to be fairy tale like that. Like when Kevin De Bruyne came on last season, I think came on with a goal and assist. You're like, that's what we were missing. You wish it was like that, but on Saturday it didn't quite look like that's the impact that he had, and so you wonder going forward into the other big games beyond Ahly, can he do that for Sundowns? And obviously, this is the one that you want to look at because this is the one that's key because it gets you into the final. But yeah, I agree with you that it can't all just be on him. Give him another cameo role, or maybe you can start him and then say to him, but at the end of the first half, you're going to be off, but give us your best. Because what he has said, I think, in a previous podcast, that he's learned from Messi and picked up the fact that you don't have to run. You don't have to be the 20K Zwane your entire career. At some point, you have to pick your moments, when to run, when to walk around, when to scan, and preserve your energy and use it at the right time. And so I think that's testament to his longevity, that at key moments, Zwane is there because he's scanning, he's learning about the condition of the game, where to be, where not to be. And so if that mind is still switched on, because also along with physical and physical fitness, that mental side of the game, right? Are you match ready? Are you match sharp? Can you read the things that are happening in the game? And from the displays on Sunday, he wants the ball, he wants to be active, he wants to play a part in Sundowns winning, which means that the hunger and the will is there. It's just a matter of has everything aligned in terms of your body and your mind and the moment. Can you show up on the big games, of which more often than not he has? So I agree with you, Jay, that I don't think look to Themba Zwane to win you the game, but he can still provide, but we don't rule him out as well because he can provide the magic. He can be decisive in those moments, but I think that team is still good enough. It's still an open tie. As much as Ahly will get the advantage playing at home, Sundowns are still a big team, a team to be feared. So I think, Jay, I don't think that's where you put your hopes on. I don't think you put your hopes on Themba Zwane. I think you look at someone who's performed like a Reina, someone who's performed like a Ribeiro, and you're like, you're like, guys, you guys have proven to be hot for more often than not in this season. So you guys, more likely than not, are going to be hot or give us something in the game. You're Chalulila as well, who's come good, I think, most latterly. You look at those people as options to winning the game, not Themba Zwane. But I think you don't rule out the fact that there could be magic.
Anyone can do it. It's chic. If anyone can do it, it's Themba Zwane. And you know what, Nechak? Based on what I saw in the performance from Sundowns, there was no shoe shine. There was no piano. It was the closest thing I can describe Sundowns as playing mud football. And where Themba Zwane could be critical is that he injects his game into the game. That what Sundowns look like they need, and they needed in the first leg, and they're going to need in the second leg, is for him to come and dance. Because in terms of structurally and tactically, how they went about that match against Ahly, they struggled and they couldn't play, Chuck. Like they just weren't playing. And whether that is the case or not, the thing about Themba Zwane, as I'm saying, he has his game. This is why Themba Zwane individually is as great a player as he is, right? It does not matter what football is being played. He plays football. Like you in the stadium, it doesn't matter whether you support Sundowns or not. You'll hear when Themba Zwane starts doing his thing that and I feel as though, Chuck, what he can do is inspire that, right? In terms of he's going to inject the tempo, and that's the thing we're trying to figure out. Like, does he have the legs? Does he have physically within him to go and do that? Because if he can, I think it's gonna bring everybody else back to life. Even if he's not quite the guy who's gonna carry the performance where he's giving the assist or he's scoring the goal to win the game for Sundowns. But the fact that he's going to give you the ball and he's going to demand it back, he's going to run into space and he's going to say, give it back. And he's going to expect for you as well to do likewise, right? And if the skipper and your talisman and the legend that he is doing that, the hope or the idea is that there's going to be a response. That beyond even tactics, ipola la Themba Zwane and nalil afuna uthi udlale naye is going to be something that might come to the core. And that might be the spark that Sundowns, based on that first leg, desperately need.
Jay, when you speak about Udlali Bola, like I think it's that thing. When I would describe it, he makes football simple. Like he gives you the ball and he runs to a place where you can't mess up the chance. You can't mess up the pass back because I've made it so simple for you. You don't have to go past anyone. Let's just play a 1-2 and it becomes easy like that, right? And also tactically, Jay, the fact that Ahly will have to look at two of their talisman on the pitch, not just focus on Ribeiro and try to close them down. You also have to then deal with Umshishi as well. When they recycle the ball, if they're not getting any penetration, it doesn't have to go as far as maybe Mokoena, but Themba is there in the 10 because he's very good and very responsible with the ball. So he gives them that extra dimension, but also be wary because he's just come back. He's only played 15 minutes and a lot of pressure.
Because my fear, right, on the other side of that is that Uzulimal. You put too much on him too soon. Nizomlimaza foot, and that is going to be catastrophic.
Yeah.
So I hope that doesn't happen.